We hold the medicine, and a lot of the time we give our power away to other people. It's in us. We can heal ourselves. So we don't need to have that clearing conversation with somebody else. We don't need them to say certain things. It's nice to be able to do that, but we're not dependent on it. We can find the freedom inside our own body and our own nervous system.
This episode will change the way you approach healing, business, and your relationships forever. I sat down with Alyssa Nobriga. She is one of the most sought after master coaches in the world. She's helped thousands of people heal deeply. She's trained thousands of coaches. She built a soul-aligned 7-figure business and leads all of her work with true purpose from the heart, not trauma. What is the biggest misconception that we have about somatic therapy as a whole?
That I know it's trending right now, and it's powerful, but it's not the only way.
Beautiful. We're going to get into that. Oh, I want to know the other ways.
Okay.
If you could give someone one tool for emotional regulation, what would it be?
To feel the thing that you're avoiding with safety and presence.
We're going to get into how to do that too.
Yep.
We got to know. What is your one daily non-negotiable practice for you to stay grounded?
Meditation.
Every day.
If I don't meditate, I'm not grounded.
Whoa.
Yeah.
How long?
And it can be 15 minutes. I mean, I've gone to maybe 20 silent retreats, so I have a deep practice, and it's gone in and out through the years. But I need some type of presence and grounding outside of the mind to feel that moving through the rest of my day.
I love that. Okay. Shadow work in one sentence.
What is shadow work?
Yeah.
The feelings that we've avoided and projections we've avoided seeing within ourselves and facing.
Ooh. Shadow work in one word.
Oh.
How about in one word?
You
want to say a sentence, don't you?
Shadow work in one word. Avoidance.
Avoidance. Okay. Ooh. And the last one. What would you tell someone who thinks that they are too broken to heal?
That's just one thought arising in the moment. It's not who you are.
Okay. Ooh, okay. Well, welcome to the show again. This is going to be good, I can tell. Okay. Ooh. So for those people viewing or listening who didn't have the chance to listen to our first episode, which you have to listen after this one, by the way, and who don't know you or your work.
Yeah.
What are you all about? What's your work all about? What's your driving force, the energy that has you waking up every day to be like, I love what I do because I know you love what you do. And this is the people I'm doing it for and why.
Yeah. I used to be a licensed somatic psychotherapist, and I've always been very goal oriented. And so I've went from therapy over to coaching. And to me, you can't really change a behavior without going under the hood. So to create lasting change, you want to really get out of your own way. You don't need to push harder. And what I love is as somebody says yes to what's alive and true in their heart, call in a relationship, get healthy, start the business. As they take steps towards that, anything that's been unhealed comes up to be looked at, presenced, and transformed so that they can then more easily step into creating what it is they want. And when I was in grad school, I kept thinking, why am I learning this in grad school, not grade school? Why don't we take classes on emotional regulation or healing work or communication and relationships younger? And so part of my work and what drives me is to help humanity heal, is to help give people the tools to awaken to who they are and to create the life that they really want, make it accessible.
And you made that shift when you were in school. You were doing therapy work and you went to coaching work.
Yes.
What was the reason you shifted into coaching work? Did you have more spaciousness to do the things you wanted to do?
Well, I think I've always been doing the same thing under a different title, because even as a therapist, for me, a real healing is a change of behavior. So I didn't want to just talk about it. I want to see the real results in your life. And I'm just more practical that way. And I know that to create lasting change, you have to shift it internally. Life is a mirror. So if you don't resolve the mental or emotional patterns that are perpetuating the problem, the ego is going to replace one problem with another. And so you really got to do the deeper work. So if, for example, if I'm feeling anxious inside because I don't feel worthy in relationship, it's going to show up in not feeling confident at work. So if I can help somebody feel an inherent sense of worth, it's going to show up both in their relationship, at work, health, every other area of their life.
let's take that person who feels, and this is so common across the board, where people feel unworthy.
Yeah.
Maybe it's a shame thing, but they're living in this unworthiness. And yeah, it permeates the relationship, and then it goes into their work, their family dynamics. You said earlier on in the rapid fire questions that somatic isn't the only way. So how would you approach someone who goes, yeah, I actually don't feel worthy of my relationship or being successful at work or being loved by anyone?
Yeah.
How would you approach that in a multi-angular state?
Yeah, that's a great question. And I think that one of the things is important to know with core wounds or core patterns it could be abandonment, worthiness, sense of belonging. There's a few core trust in life, safe. So they all come back to wanting to feel safe. So anytime we're doing healing work, safety is the foundation, but we want to have an integrative framework. We don't want to just work it at one level. Say mindset. Mindset was very popular in the beginning with coaching. Everyone was doing mindset work. And then they started doing unconscious reprogramming. And then we moved more to somatic work. All of these are great, but you want an integrative process to not just work it on one level, especially when it's core.
Yeah.
And people need different things at different times of their development. Some people need fire. They need a little bit more like getting into action. Other people need water. They need more self-compassion. And so knowing what we need at that moment, and if we're a facilitator, if we're holding space for people, we also want to learn how to meet our clients in the ways that they need it most. So I work with people mentally, emotionally, somatically, unconsciously, and behaviorally. 5 levels of change.
Mentally, emotionally, somatically, behaviorally.
Yeah. Unconsciously,
and
behaviorally.
Unconsciously. Okay.
The acronym is SHAMBU, just to help remember
I
it.
recognize that.
Yeah.
I took your course, by the way. So that is, so when we look at that, that's a more comprehensive, integrative approach to transformational work.
That's right.
Because oftentimes if we do one, it's not necessarily transformation. You said something about the ego replacing something else with something else. What goes on?
Yeah, let me share. So with some of the deeper work, so you can somatically move energy through your nervous system, but if you keep perpetuating with this story, I'm not good enough, your body's going to keep responding. So it's great to know how to move it through the nervous system, but if you don't work it at the root in the mind, it will keep creating that loop. So we want to look at identity. I would say identity is the most important thing to create sustainable change. Who do I think I am? And when you work it at that level, then you not only are able to maintain the shifts in terms of the things that you're creating in your life, but you also feel a deeper sense of inherent worth and value. So the idea that I'm not good enough or I need to keep healing, because sometimes that's an indulgence.
Yeah.
That is just one story arising in the moment. And so when we have some greater level of awareness, we see the different stories that come up in the moment, and we get less seduced into them unconsciously. So mentally clearing it, working, it's really helpful. Yes, learning how to embrace the emotions. So maybe there's a part of me that doesn't feel worthy, but it's not the whole of me.
Yeah.
So emotional mastery work is, can I breathe into and welcome the emotion that's here, as if it's like a little kid just, pulling down on our pant leg. It's just looking for a hug. And when we're not indulging and we're not avoiding, it's easier just to allow the emotion or the sensation to move through. Same with somatic work. So when you feel it as a sensation, not a story, it just takes 90 seconds to feel it through. And the somatic work is really awesome because you don't need to know the story of what created it. But if it keeps looping, then eventually you do want to have a higher level of awareness of what is actually creating the sensation in my body. What's the story or the identity, so that I can question it and really get free.
Yeah. So I think that this is really important for viewers and listeners, because there's like a camp of people who are nonstop mindset work.
Yes.
They got all the books.
Yeah.
They've done all the classes and courses and nothing with the body.
Yeah.
Then there's people with the body, but their identity is frozen. They're in this old identity. Why do we derive these identities? Like, how do we get to this place where we can have this beautiful emotional healing and we go, wow, all this energy moved through me, and wow, I'm back to the same place 3 weeks later. How does the identity sabotage that process of real deep healing?
Yeah, if you want to really change your life, you look at the level of identity to one of two things. You either enhance your sense of self or you wake up beyond it. So for those that are interested in spiritual awakening, just a deeper inquiry into who am I taking myself to be in this moment? Moment to moment, what is the story I'm telling myself? And what's actually true beyond the story that's being created about who I think I am right now? And that's profound. And mixing spiritual awakening with somatic work is some of the deepest work available.
Wow. Yeah.
And then in terms of just garden variety egoic identity, it's a way that we create safety and belonging in the world. And so I look at identity through the Enneagram, actually. So as a psychotherapist, the best personality assessment test to me was the Enneagram. And there are 9 different types. And to me, those are unconscious ways that we look for love, safety, and belonging in the world. We don't realize that it's actually found in a deeper dimension within our being. And it's innocently just trying to help find ourselves. It helps us find a deeper sense of safety by inquiring into those things that are creating blocks inside of us. So for example, the perfectionist, they look for perfection in the world so that they feel a deeper sense of peace, not awake to the peace that's here underneath the strategies for peace. Or the helper that looks for help to be able to, the safety strategy is, how do I help people so that then I feel loved and safe? Not realizing that there is a sense of safety underneath the strategy for helping. And you can go on and on with all 9 types. But it's the ways that we've been conditioned since childhood. And I just find the Enneagram to be a really clear map to look at who we are not. It's more about the personality, not the essence of who we are.
Yeah. I'm going to tell you about this amazing brand I've been working with for quite a while now. It is Bond Charge. If you know about their red light face mask, then you know. But if you don't know, I got to tell you about it. It is a game changer, right? Red light is one of the, and I still don't know why it's not in the mainstream, the best interventions for healthy, long-term, healthy skin. You want clear skin, you want more collagen. This is the best form of collagen because it's actually creating inherent collagen in your body. So those pesky fine lines, those breakouts, well, this mask is going to reduce inflammation and actually start elevating collagen. So you put it on 15 minutes, you can catch up on emails when you're winding down, when you're watching your favorite movie, whatever it is. But what I love about Bond Charge is they really think about the details. They removed all that sleep disrupting blue light frequency so you can use it anytime without messing up your circadian rhythms. And let me tell you, my skin is loving it. I got amazing glow. Check it out. And yes, those early fine lines can be reversible. You want to give your body the stimulus with the red light to start regenerating that collagen. And you want to keep up with it. It's something I do every single day. So if you're interested in getting one of my favorite products that I have in my home, the red light face mask, check out the link in the show notes. Use the code DRG to get 15% off of everything, all things Bond Charge. That is BONCHARGE. And remember, the code is DRG for 15% off. You know that feeling after a big meal when you're bloated and tired and you just want to take a nap, or when you're sore for days after a workout? I used to think it was normal until I discovered what was really happening in my body. And when you think about it, our bodies naturally are going to produce digestive enzymes. We know that. But we don't really understand that over the age of 30, the production starts declining. When we're stressed, absolutely it starts declining. And then you start feeling bloated and gaseous after meals or fatigue. You're slowly not recovering enough from exercise because you're not really absorbing all the nutrients that you need to recover. And I've done stories on this. You probably see it on my Instagram. I speak about Masszymes from Biooptimizers. It is my go-to digestive enzymes, period. And they even up-level the formula. Yeah, these are an innovative company, 30% stronger now than ever. They have 100,000 units of protein digestive enzymes per capsule. I take these with every single large meal, right? If I have a smoothie, I don't. But if I have a large lunch and definitely a large dinner, if I go out to eat, I always have my Masszymes with me. My friends know, they always ask me for digestive enzymes, and it's really, really helpful. You will notice immediately that your bloating will be gone after meals because digestive enzymes are going to help you break down your food. You're going to feel more energized because you're absorbing carbs, fats, proteins much better than you are. It's like upgrading your body's ability to use everything, right? It's a little upgrade. And take it if you're stressed. Most people are not eating mindfully. And if you're not eating mindfully, you got to go with this go-to. So here's an exclusive offer. You go to biooptimizers.com/DRG and use the promo code DRG10. That is BIOPTIMIZERS.com/DRG. They even offer a full 365-day money-back guarantee. There is no risk to try it. And if you subscribe, you will get amazing discounts and free gifts, plus a monthly supply guaranteed. So it gives better clarity. And how do we take that test? Is it an online test?
Yeah, there are lots of free online tests.
Okay, viewers, listen, I know and they're like, how do you spell that?
Yeah, ENNEAGRA.
Okay, so they can find out a better idea of their
Coping strategies,
general coping
safety
strategy.
They're like who they think they are and the ways that it's almost like as a type 3, an achiever, it's like, well, who am I when I'm not achieving? There, you can bring a deeper inquiry. If you take the test, it's going to tell you
Give you good
1 to
clarity.
3 ideas. What I find really helpful is looking at what are my motives. So 8s as challengers and 3s as achievers are both very successful, but for different reasons. 8s are looking for power to control their environment to feel safe. Whereas 3s are looking to feel like their worth is through what they achieve and how they've proven their worth. So both are successful, but what's the intention? Where does it come from?
Yeah.
So when you get the test, it'll tell you top 3. You are the only one to decide where it comes from. What's your motivation? Your motive.
It gives you a top 3.
That's
for that.
right.
Okay.
Or 2, top 2 or 3.
Was there a performer on that? A performer or
Yeah,
something
that's
like
the 3.
That's a 3?
The
That was me.
performer. Yeah, me too.
That was me. I got the performer. I took this years ago and I'm starting to remember the names now. Yeah. So really interesting because part of my own healing work was to really go past who am I if I'm not performing for people.
That's right.
And then it was like, oh, well, I guess I'm not as funny as I thought I was. And then I was like, well, who am I if I'm not funny? And then I was like, well, let me embody me being not funny. And then I was like, whoa, I feel calm like this. I was like, whoa, I was just anxiously performing
To get love, to get
to
safety.
get love.
And it's innocent.
And that's what the Enneagram shows.
Yeah. The Enneagram are the personality types. And I think it's helpful because most people think of the Enneagram as this is who I am, but it's actually who you're not.
That's what I thought initially. I go,
It's who
wow.
you're not.
I thought it was like a horoscope. I was like, wow, it knows me.
Yeah,
You
yeah,
know?
yeah.
But it's who I'm not.
Yeah, exactly. It's your personality, not the truth of your being.
Right, because the personality is.
You see the personality. You were prior to it.
So then who are we past our personality?
Exactly. That's the question.
That's the question.
Living inquiry, moment to moment. What's actually here beyond the stories, the identities, the narratives running through my mind?
Is this one of the biggest cause for human suffering, that we don't know who we are outside of our personality?
Yes. I would say the cause of suffering is resisting the moment. And when we don't know who we are, we try to find ourselves in the world. We go outward versus directing the question back to what is witnessing, what is seeing the moment. It's almost like you think of it, we were talking about art. Think of a canvas. This is the presence, the awareness that is, versus the paint, the different thoughts, stories, sensations that get clouded onto that canvas.
So for us, when we start moving away from our Enneagram, and
We
actually
wake up beyond.
we wake up beyond our personality.
Yeah.
So, but what does that mean? Is that a spiritual awakening?
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah. Yeah. And my friend Locke Kelly has a really beautiful framework. He talks about waking up. So this is like, oh, I'm more than a body mind. Waking down, oh, I have a body mind. And waking out, and that's more awakened living. So the embodiment work is oftentimes where we're dropping back down into the body to get acquainted back with the body. You go into the body to move through the body, beyond the body.
And that's new for a lot of people because they haven't lived their lives acquainted with their body.
Yes, and they've also lived their lives identified with the story in their head. And I think more and more people are awakening to, oh, this is a story. It's not who I am. I am what sees these stories.
Right. I am who sees the stories.
Yeah.
So to translate, right? So we have like this passing our personality, passing the identity. Do we see people actually overcome sickness, like physical? We're talking about physical manifestations. Are they tied together?
So let me explain. So you can be completely awake to the nature of who and what you are and have a really unconscious life. I'm interested in a waking up and growing up. So yes, and I would say that again, and in my certification program, I just did this, the deepest work is spiritual awakening and somatic integration, where people feel the presence that they are and start to wake up to their true nature, which is the most healing. And talk about nervous system regulation, like this is, it's profound. But there are a lot of enlightened beings that have had cancer. And so it's not, and I don't know if because the way that they lived prior to their own awakening was influenced that, but I do know that as you wake up beyond the mind, there's less fear, there's less stress It's just present moment awareness. And that is very healing for the body.
Of course. Yeah. But just like our cortisol is not up first and foremost. And our whole system is like,
Yeah.
it's like a real felt sense of safety.
It's like, no, you can watch a scary movie knowing that it's a movie. It's a lot easier to watch, which I can.
We were just talking about it. And I was like, oh, I like to get revved up a little bit sometimes. You're like, okay, Christian, we need to do some healings on you now. Scary movies. Okay, so when people are feeling this transcendent like experience, part of them, I am more than
my body.
I'm really excited to tell you about something that I've been working on lately. I've done collab with Supermush, and it's a fantastic company. You know, I'm always talking about supporting your immune system with daily habits. I've teamed up with Supermush. This is my close friend's company, and I'm so happy to co-create with them. We have a nice Dr. G special edition immunity gummy from Supermush. They're not your average supplements. We formulated them with turkey tail, acerola cherry, elderberry, vitamin C, zinc. It's a really powerful combination that's going to support your immune system, help reduce inflammation, and boost your daily resilience. And what makes these different is that we've created this immunity formula with intention. Yes, it's my favorite flavor, watermelon. It's a watermelon burst gummy that really delivers science-backed ingredients. It's going to support your immune system and it's going to taste good. And I love that you can give them to your kids. Speak to your doctor first for sure, but you can give them to your kids. They're sugar-free. They taste amazing. They become part of my daily ritual. If I want to help maintain a strong immune system, I'll take 2 every single morning. Sometimes I'll take 2 in the afternoon. And I just notice more resiliency. I notice that if someone's coughing all up on me, I feel good. And definitely if I travel, which I will be in the next few weeks to Miami, I'm taking them with me. So there's a limited collaboration. That means once they're gone, they're gone. We ain't making anymore. So catch our Immune Gummies collab before they disappear. Go to www.supermush.com and use the code DRG20 at checkout to get 20% off of any purchase. That is SUPERMUSH, and use the code DRG20 for 20% off of any purchase.
Yeah, but I will say that most people get into spiritual inquiry or spiritual awakening so that they avoid their human experience.
Oh yeah.
And you get more mature in your spiritual inquiry, and there's a welcoming it's like you stretch the capacity to have freedom within the full range of your human experience. So most people try to use spirituality to avoid, and then the more mature way is to come back into finding a sense of center and peace within all the different thoughts and sensations. They're really just thoughts and sensations. It's your own chemistry that you're scared of. So oftentimes, instead of just looping in the mind, right? Thoughts create feelings. Instead of looping in the mind, you can get present. Anytime your body goes into contraction, it's an alarm clock. What was I thinking in that moment? And you can question that thought, and then you can breathe into the contraction and it moves through. When something is on repeat, like there's a core pattern of I'm not good enough, then we want to take some more time to really integrate it on 5 levels so that you have a deeper level of realization, more than just mentally, but also somatically, emotionally, and unconsciously.
2 things came up in that is that there are people who, it's funny you say scared of the moment. It's like, I don't feel good, right? Like my stomach hurts. Oh my God, what's wrong? And then they go immediately into the story.
That's right.
And you're saying, can you in that moment just be present with that contraction?
Yes. So a lot of the time people think that feelings are hard to feel. It's our resistance to the feelings that's hard, not the feeling itself. So when you fully allow a feeling to be here without the story, it moves through incredibly quickly. You can do it with thoughts and emotions. And so my invitation is for people to test these things and not just to believe, because actually the avoidance going back into our mind loops us and makes it harder, it just postpones it. And then that's what's creating the suffering. And so the invitation and the willingness to face the thing that we've avoided is what sets us free. Because ironically, when we start getting more mature in this work, we realize anything that I've avoided, I'm creating. So the very thing that I'm trying to resist is actually what is the same pattern that's creating the thing I'm trying to avoid. So let's ground this with an example. So let's just say I'm in a relationship and I am anxious attached and I don't want to feel abandoned. So then I start clinging to my partner out of that fear. I push them away because they're feeling smothered. And then I create the very abandonment that I was I was not wanting to experience. And so the way out of that loop is to insource your own safety. So there's an anxious energy that comes up. You can question the anxious thought. You can breathe into the feeling or sensation of anxiety, and you find as you welcome it with the breath and you're willing to go into it without resistance, without, again, the story, you drop into what's underneath the anxiety, which is peace. But you have to feel the emotion and sensation all the way through to feel the peace.
The resistance is big though, because it feels like life or death sometimes.
And sometimes people will be like, I'm going to throw up. Or and I'm like, here's the trash can.
Yeah,
or they say
totally.
that I'm never going to get out of there if I go. And I'm like, I'm right there with you, because that's resistance. I want to make sure that people hear this. This is for people that don't have big T trauma. This is for people, when you have big T trauma, you want to work with a trauma specialist. You want to work with somebody And so big T trauma, meaning you can't hold the present moment with love and acceptance, meaning you get looped back up into the past. So garden variety trauma, we all have trauma. And as we presence it, we just need that safety as the foundation. And the more we're willing to face the thing that we've avoided, we have a life of freedom. And we want to balance it, because sometimes it's about offering ourselves love and compassion. Sometimes it's about questioning the stories and going into the dark with a flashlight. But there are other times where we really just want to sit in the fire and feel the thing we've avoided. And like, we want to hold and honor both equally, not indulge in the deep dive. Some of the fours in the Enneagram will dive deep into like, I'm going to get free, and then they indulge it.
Yeah.
And then some intellectuals, more of the fives in the Enneagram, the investigators, they may stay in the mind trying to analyze for years, but psychoanalysts stay in the mind for 10 years without real transformation. Not about it.
Oh, yeah. I've seen that.
Yeah.
I've seen it. That's crazy. Yeah, it's wild. So it's doing both.
Yeah, and it's not avoiding, it's not resisting, it's allowing. Fully allowing whatever the thought, the sensation, or the emotion is in the moment.
Sounds like compassion to me.
Yeah, it's love. It's
really
wisdom.
It's a high level of like courage and compassion and love.
Yeah, because if I argue with, anxiety is here, I'm just adding more anxiety to it. It doesn't feel loved. You're right. And then I just have another, if I'm judging judgment, it's another layer of judgment.
Yeah.
So it's just like, I can see it compassionately. I can breathe into this compassionately. We hold the medicine, and a lot of the time we give our power away to other people. It's in us. We can heal ourselves. We don't need to have that clearing conversation with somebody else. We don't need them to say certain things. It's nice to be able to do that, but we're not dependent on it. We can find the freedom inside our own body and our own nervous system.
Through everything that we've been talking about just now. You mentioned like this indulgence in like bettering and spirituality. I've seen this trend. A lot of people going to do ayahuasca and taking psychedelics, coming back home, and then they have another one planned out for the next month, and then the next month. And I feel like there's been an addiction to psychedelics and ayahuasca.
Yep.
Are they avoiding something? What's going on there? I want to know the psychology of this.
Yeah. Well, it's interesting because growing up with my dad being a shaman since I was 14, I sat in a lot of shamanic circles for a long time, but plant medicine was a very small portion of it. And I did that when I was 20. And so 14 to 20 had not done, maybe at 18 I did some San Pedro or something very light, but that's such a small portion of the real work. I think people on the healing path getting really honest with themselves, where's this coming from? So that we can have a sense of discernment. Am I using this to avoid? Because you could say the same thing for food. Because am I using this to avoid feeling something? Or is this, have I integrated from the last ceremony before doing the next? And so it just is about us being really honest with ourselves. Where is it coming from? That I think is the most important thing. Because if that avoidance pattern, and it's innocent, it's like, I thought that I needed that.
Yeah. But
this is about really having the tools and principles and perspectives or community to do the work so that we get free, not create more dependency.
So like the tools, it seems to be sometimes like an abstract thing. Are we still following that acronym that you said before?
SHAMBU,
Those are the tools?
Yeah, well, those are the levels. So
levels.
Somatic work being one level. There's multiple tools within it. And within somatic, for example, one of the things that I'm saying is to breathe into the sensation in the body that you've avoided without any story for 90 seconds to move it through. That's just like one small thing. It's not a tool, but it's a principle within the level of somatic.
Okay. And these tools that we look for,
Yeah.
this is why we pay psychiatrists, somatic therapists, right? We want them to help us build tools. I feel like you're right. Like when we're young, we don't have all of those tools. We're not taught. There should be foundational, like, hey, young Christopher, when you feel this way, here are some things that you can do. And then in 5th grade and then in 8th grade, we keep learning
That's right.
how to self-regulate. We don't know how to self-regulate.
Yeah.
So what are some of your most tangible self-regulating tools? Breathing into the sensation for sure, without a story. Is there anything else that we can do in our waking life when we're walking and someone triggers us all of a sudden?
Yeah.
How do we move through that without reacting?
Yeah. I mean, I go so deep into my work all around this, but I can share a few that are grounded and tangible. So somatically, yes. Again, the foundation is always safety within the window of tolerance, meaning like you can, and if you ever want somebody that's trained to hold, or a friend or somebody that can be present, because sometimes we have our own stories of avoidance. Even myself, I have I listened to it this morning where I have a podcast of my own where I'm guiding people to feel the thing they've avoided somatically. And I played it for myself this morning so that I could bite size, be with the energy that I was not wanting to be with, because I can tell in my mind that if it's slippery, it's like a slippery fish. I'm going to start thinking or strategizing as a way not to feel it. And it can be subtle and unconscious. So it's nice to have somebody hold when it's a core pattern, a core wound. But I do find it helpful to have some of these daily practices or weekly practices. So somatically, yes, breathing into the sensation, but having safety or presence be the foundation. And you can do that as a morning practice. You can do that maybe when you do breath work, or listen to that audio guide, or with mindset work, mental work, you can also do questioning your thinking, right? So what is the story I was telling myself in that moment, and how true is it? Just getting still, the power is in stillness, not the answer. It's like, and what am I getting out of that? What's the payoff for believing that? And being compassionate with ourselves, again, is super important, because if we judge anything we start to see, we're further stuck with it.
Yeah.
If we identify with what we see, we're further stuck with it. So like the two biggest principles in doing the inner work, which I would say is 80% of the work to really change our lives is inner, 20% is strategic. As we start to do that inner work, we want to offer ourselves compassion. It's like, oh, that was the part of me that was trying to protect me. Like I was on a coaching call yesterday, and this woman was trying to use anxiety to motivate her to host her workshop. And I said, well, that's one option when you're trying to avoid the fear. But if you actually open to the fear, you don't need to push yourself to do it, because you just naturally move towards what you're wanting to do.
Yeah.
So instead of judging anxiety, we can thank it for helping her move forward. But now we're reprogramming new ways to honor our dreams without getting divided and pushing ourselves inside. So we're getting out of our own way. So questioning the thoughts, behaviorally. Sometimes people are like, I don't have anything going on in my life. Awesome. So take the action, and then life will show you what's left. So as you take steps towards what you want, you're playing a bigger game, maybe speaking on a bigger stage, whatever else will come up is what will, I always say life is the real coach. Life will show you exactly what you need in the moment to get free if you are willing to do the work. And I would rather be proactive to do that and live freer with an open heart and mind, younger, and enjoy my life. And then unconsciously, something that is a really powerful question people can ask themselves is, so if there's been a goal that you've been trying to achieve and you haven't been able to, you oftentimes, and we talked about this on our first podcast, I think, which you have a foot on the gas and a foot on the brakes. It's like, I want it, but I'm scared. I want to fall in love, but I'm scared of being hurt.
Yeah.
I want to grow my business, but I'm afraid of being judged. So one question you can ask yourself on the unconscious that's really powerful is, what do I fear would happen if I got the thing that I wanted? And most people are like, what? I don't have a fear of making more money. It's like, slow down, really get still and listen deeply, not from the conscious mind, listen deeply inside. If I made more money or whatever the goal is, I fear, and then listen, because there's a payoff. There's a reason you have that behavior. And the more you are listening deeply inside, you have your own wisdom and answers that will emerge. You can even journal it. And then once you see it consciously, you can take it into inquiry, into mindset work.
That's such a powerful question. Because I wouldn't even say it's self-sabotage. It's just protection of like,
Exactly.
so there's something here.
That's right.
And looking at that.
Yes.
Right? Because we don't think about that.
And that's the compassionate lens. It's like, oh, that's a protection mechanism.
Mm-hmm.
And if you say it's self-sabotage, that's judgment, then you're further trapped with it.
Yeah.
And another powerful question you can ask yourself is, what do I know that I don't want to know?
Mm-hmm.
Just get real honest with yourself.
Ooh, that's a deep one too. You know, it's funny because we have the answers to both those questions.
Yes.
You know, like we kind of do know, and we don't want to like, so like, I want to have a 6-figure business, and and then you're like, well, I don't know why things don't like work out for me.
Yeah.
We don't really like ask ourselves, you know, are we protecting ourselves from that? And that's okay, but we gotta get real with ourselves, or feeling better, or calling in the one, or all these things.
Yeah.
I love those questions because they resonate with me. I'm like, okay, well, I think I want to put those in my journal.
My journal. Yeah.
So that's a beautiful thing. In the quick rapid fire question, you had said meditation is a like non-negotiable emotional regulation piece, and we talk about it. I've talked about it a lot in the show, but for those viewing and listening, they go, okay, but there's so many other things that are more sexy, right? Meditation is just like, well, it's ancient. People have been doing it all the time. It's kind of just sit down and work, right? Like, really, how can you describe the transformational benefit of what it's brought to your life?
Sure.
So people viewing and listening can go, oh no, it is kind of sexy.
Yeah.
I want that too.
Yeah.
Because we're not like, I think we're not just consistently doing. A lot of people go, I'm doing it, and then I stop. I'm doing it, I stop.
And I'm with that.
Yeah.
And it's not easy to always sit. And even the other day, my AirPods weren't working, and so I didn't meditate, and I felt the results of that because my husband was sleeping next to me, and so I didn't meditate the other day, and so sometimes we just have to test things out to see, what is my truth? What is my experience? How much does it actually serve me? And I would encourage people to always have that in their life, keep testing and experimenting. What is the payoff? What's the biggest bang for your buck? For me, meditation helps me observe the mind rather than getting absorbed by it. And so I can carry that through the rest of the day. Even if the mind is busy, you know, for example, I noticed one day my mind was really busy and it was looking for a problem to fix. And so I warned my husband, saying, I can tell my mind is untamed. I think of like the dog walking the person rather than the person walking the dog. My mind was, I could see that it was looking for a problem to create. So I warned my husband to just be careful around me, because I could tell it was looking for a problem. And because I was doing my meditation practice and I told him, I didn't go unconsciously into a fight. And not only then, when also by meditating, do I see the nature of the mind that day? Is it calm? Is it looking for a fix? I cannot bring that into the work that I'm doing. So I'm also willing to stop to feel. It's almost like in meditation, I can see there's a greater space between awareness and thought. And so I can bring that into my work, so that if something happens at work, I'm not just getting flipped out of my lid and I'm just unconscious to, they said something and I'm like a puppet and unconscious, like react to them. And that, you know, Viktor Frankl talks about that space being the space between stimulus and response. That's really where our freedom to choose is. But we don't know that we have that freedom unless we see the space. And so it calms my nervous system. It helps give me choice, and I can see and prepare for, if my mind is looking for something that it's like it's unnecessary suffering. And it doesn't mean that I don't get duped by the mind. I can sometimes be gullible, but it does help hold a ballast in a ship, so that no matter what happens with the winds of life, there's a deeper rootedness in myself in the moment.
And you can always have that separation. You can see.
Yeah.
Right?
It's easier to see.
It's easier to see. Oh, always. And it's crazy. Like, if I stop meditating for a month, I'm back and meshed with all the things, and I'm just like, uh-oh.
Yeah.
I need to separate.
Especially if I don't feel like I have time, that's actually when it's more valuable, because I'm just caught up in the matrix.
That's my biggest excuse.
Yeah.
I don't have time.
Yeah.
I got to do all these other things.
Yeah.
Isn't it funny? Like, that's the time to do it, when you don't think you have time.
Yeah.
That's
And
incredible.
bite-sizing it, you know, just like 1 week, 10 minutes starting. I think it's easier that way. It doesn't need to be a long meditation all the time. And I think the more we pay attention to the quality of our life when we're doing the things that fill us, for me, it's meditation. Also movement. Movement and meditation are really important for me.
Dancing.
For sure, dancing.
For sure dancing.
For sure, dancing.
Okay, I want to talk about this.
Yeah, let's
I want to
talk
talk
about
about this. There are when I do my live events, you came to one,
Yeah.
and we saw a little bit of you doing exercise. There's a lot of people that have shame to move and dance, and there's a lot of people who DM me and go, Dr. G, I just started moving and dancing. Like, I put on my own playlist and I'm in front of the mirror and I feel so, oh my God, I started crying. Why are people having emotional movements from dancing? What's the power of dancing? Is it overriding something in the brain? Is it activating something in the hips? And what is like the medicine there? Like, should we all be actually doing this? I know we did it in Tribe. Should we do it more?
I mean, I'm a huge fan for dance as one form of authentic expression. And I think people are so self-conscious. They've been told how they should dance.
Yeah.
And so they're in their mind and not really in the body in the moment. And so if it helps them to do it, like you're saying, by yourself first, or to close your eyes when you're in community so that you can really tune into what your body wants to do, it can be so liberating and freeing. I mean, I love dance. I think it's such a big, it's my favorite form of creative expression. Yeah. But I also, I've moved through that self-conscious part of the brain, and I just feel fully self-expressed, so much so where I can have a full energy orgasm very quickly. I didn't know what was happening. I just felt like I can, as I'm dancing, as I'm jumping, it's moving energy up and out. And I just felt like there's light coming out of me. So when people start to access more static states, that's also available. Not that that's needed, but I went to a Tantra retreat. I was like, oh, that's what I do on the dance floor. So I'm like, oh, and it just helps you feel your aliveness, your sense of creative expression, connection. So that's available, but we have to move through the self-conscious mind. And that could be a meditation, a moving meditation.
Oh my God. This is huge because part of when I teach my students their practice at homes is singing and dancing but authentic, right? Overriding the, oh wait, I should do this. Or if it's a guy especially, no, I don't do that with my hips. No, it's too much. So really overriding this, and it's so potent, like a somatic healing in many ways. But what about singing? What about the voice?
I mean, we've been singing and dancing throughout time. All cultures have some form of singing and dancing as medicine. And so I think I had Dr. Thema Bryant was on my podcast. And
she was on this one too.
Oh, amazing.
I love her.
She's beautiful.
She's great.
She's like, when did you stop singing? And that might be an indication of when a trauma happened in someone's life. So it's a different way to go into investigating when we disconnected from our truth, our authenticity.
Because what kid doesn't sing?
Yeah.
Right?
Yeah.
And then we just stop. And I notice the most healing is when friends, music, dancing, singing. And I'm like, that's better than any supplement I've ever taken.
That's right.
Right? And but it's so familiar to the genetics.
Yeah.
It's familiar to the body.
That's right. And nature.
And nature, this is us. Like, you know, so I love that we got to go into dancing and singing, but I want to go into business now.
Okay, cool.
I want to shift the gears because you are a businesswoman.
Yeah.
It's not all just we lost you in the ether. No, you're grounded and I think that's one of my favorite, most impressive things about you is that you are embodied in this work, heart-centric, deeply spiritual, and also haven't gone, forget money and forget like all of the 3D stuff. You've built it on a heart-centric approach. Now, there's a lot of people viewing, listening, who go, okay, I want to start my own business, or I'm starting my own business. I started it, but I'm having a lot of trouble. They can obviously take your course. But is business an energetic expression of the person running the business? And if so, what the heck do we need to look at to make that business successful?
Yeah. I mean, I look at the lens of life as a mirror. So using business relationships, using life as an opportunity to heal, awaken. And so business is absolutely an expression of yourself. So, and especially I have a team of 48 now. And so I've gotten schooled around, leadership and team and things like that, because at least if you're looking at a top-down model, which I don't ascribe to, but if you're looking at a top-down model, the leader is going to influence the consciousness of everybody else in the team. And so, yes, business, the more you do the inner work, the easier business becomes, the easier relationships become. And a lot of the time people think it's about strategy. So for example, I'm scared of putting myself out there. But it's not about strategy. If you have fears about, let's say, putting yourself out there, for one, you're not putting yourself out there, you're putting your services out there. It's not who you are. And if you think it's about who you are, you're going to be on a roller coaster of, I got a client, I didn't get a client, or my business is doing well, it's not doing well. And when you can step off of that and really experience your true nature and your okayness, independent of how your business is doing or your relationship, you feel a deep sense of peace. So let's take the example of rejection. So if somebody's going to pitch to somebody to work with them, they may have a fear of rejection. Same thing of like asking somebody on a date. They may have a fear of rejection. If you work with this fear of rejection, you don't reject that part of you by trying to get the client or the partner, and you embrace that experience or that sensation of rejection, you're going to instantly feel more connected and whole. It won't matter if they say yes or no, because you feel a deeper sense of confidence that doesn't come and go. And then you are not so dysregulated. Your thoughts are more clear. You make bold decisions and bigger moves in your business because your identity is not caught up in it. So doing conscious business, to me, is the hack, is using your business as a path towards growth and healing and awakening.
I just got a few DMs. I was just talking about I was talking about something running business, and they said, this lady said, I've worked for many health and wellness CEOs and CPG brands. Majority of them were nightmares to work with, super angry, and like yelling at her, or like yelling at, this one person said, his kids in front of like the team. And if we take your advice, that's the mirror right there, that's right? What you're dripping down into the collective consciousness of your business is the thing that needs to be worked on, right? That you can work on.
And so then that person, it would be, what's your relationship with anger? What's anger giving you? Because oftentimes anger is it can be a defense to feeling something that's underneath it. It's trying to be a protection, or maybe anger just worked in your childhood. Because if you were in a family system where you got angry and then you got what you wanted, you take those patterns with you into adulthood, right? And so then you become a CEO that is maybe an 8, a challenger, and then uses anger to try to get their way. It's unconscious, it's innocent. And if we judge anger, then we're just caught in it. So we want to bring compassion to it, and then we want to learn how to get our needs from the vulnerability and the connection with what it is we want, rather than using, say, criticism. If we don't have a good relationship with anger, maybe then it comes out in the sideways ways through criticism.
Yeah.
And then, but within that criticism, there's a desire. So it's like, I don't need to criticize criticism. Let me find the desire within criticism, speak that desire, forgive any of the judgment about my being upset, and then learn new ways to communicate.
That's powerful for people who are running a business. Really important, that communication step, because I know a lot of people probably can not have the communication skills. Maybe they didn't grow up with it.
Yeah.
And then having that criticism, oh no, I was really angry. Oh man, why did I say it that way?
Right. Yeah.
Instead of just knowing that there's a desire there, and you can communicate that without the anger.
Yeah, and we can repair. Like, none of us were really taught this, and most of us weren't modeled anything. It's either power over, power under. I mean, emotional mastery was not part of our curriculum, but hopefully it's becoming that way in public schools. So it's just about, you're right, like being self-aware, but being compassionate with that awareness, and then practicing, learning different ways, doing the repair. We're not meant to be perfect, but we can apologize. We can start over. We can learn from it.
Okay, so what about all the people that say, oh, look, I'm starting an Instagram or YouTube, a business, and I've been working on it, and then it just hit this peak and I just can't pass it. You think there's something in there where they don't want to be seen, or they don't want to be successful? There's a hidden.
Yes.
So how do we approach people who are viewing and listening and go, damn, I plateaued and I think I just hit my peak, but I know there's more here, but I hit the peak and I don't know how to get past it.
Yeah. So oftentimes if you have a strategy to grow and you're not growing, there's a subconscious protection to not grow more. So that's when you would ask yourself, what do I fear would happen if I did grow more? And get specific. Because usually with that upper limit, it'll be weight, it'll be number of followers, it'll be income, something specific. So it's like, what do I fear would happen if I lost 15 pounds? Or if I grew my subscribers on YouTube to 100,000? What do I fear would happen?
Wow.
So that you can listen deeply into, oh, I think I'm going to be judged. And then you can inquire, once you see what it is for you, you can inquire. It's like, judgment's a big one. And I think a lot of the times people think that it's others' opinions of us that hurt us, but it's not. It's our opinions about what we think they're thinking of us that hurts us. And so if we have an insecurity within us, then other people's opinion, our perception of their opinion might hurt us because we're already insecure. But if I don't care about being an astronaut and someone says, Alyssa, you're the world's worst astronaut, I'm like, I may be, probably. Yeah. It doesn't sting. Yeah. But that sting is only because it's almost like there's already a wound and you're just putting salt on it. So the medicine is still in me. If I forgive any judgments about myself for whatever the insecurities that I already have, then I don't get hurt by their comment. I'm not a doormat. I may not, but I'm not resisting it. And the moment I resist something, actually, that's when I hurt. So if somebody's like judging, then if I can find it inside of myself, whatever they're saying, and I'm like, oh, I can find that in me. Or if somebody says, Alyssa, you're a bitch, I can say, I can see where I've been a bitch. I'm not defending. I'm not hurting. And if it's not true for me, then at least the open mind helps settle it, because I can see the power is in me and not the situation, not the person.
Not the comment.
Not the comment.
Or whatever went down after
That's
that.
right. I remember I was on YouTube, just because we're talking about that, when back in the day, I healed emotional overeating. And I didn't have a YouTube show, but I was like, I think this would be helpful for people to hear. It was like 2012. I was hiding at the time. I don't know what year it was. Maybe it was earlier. And I thought this would be nice to do a video on emotional overeating so that people could have access to this. And the first comment, somebody said, first world problem. And I felt like it was a punch in the gut. I was like, oh, I just spent my time developing this video, sharing it. I have no interest other than to serve. And this guy writes that comment. And then I just sat with the literal listening of first world problem. And I'm like, yeah, of course that's a first world problem. And I said, I responded to him totally. And he put LOL. And it just shifted it. But it shifted in me first.
It comes from you.
It comes from me. If I were to be that jerk and then I'm revved up, I'm hurting. Yeah. But it shifted in me. And it doesn't mean I have to agree with it, but it's my resistance to the moment that causes my suffering.
I see what you're saying. And that is the thing that makes not only our business freeze, but us as human beings freeze.
Yes.
To get to that next level of what we're seeking or what we want deep down inside. So having that awareness that it is you. Yeah. And
the good news and the bad news. It's you.
It's you.
Identify what it is. Once you see what it is, like, okay, what is it, the thing that I'm actually, what's the protection? What am I scared of? And then you can find the medicine inside of you to work the tools mentally, emotionally, somatically, unconsciously, behaviorally.
And then move past it.
And then move on.
And then your business explodes.
Exactly. That's right.
And your YouTube and your Instagram and all the things you want.
And you don't even care by that point if it does or it doesn't. Because you're tapped into something that you thought those subscribers were going to give you that you already have inside now.
Isn't that funny? It's like you may have driven your whole business to a point, like let's say you're selling bread, and it was driven by you wanting to be liked by the whole town. And then the truth is that the moment that you overcome or move past that identity and actually you're the medicine.
Yeah, you want to be liked by you.
You don't care about that anymore. And then
that's right.
And then everything happens.
Yeah.
It always happens like that.
That's right. And the finances can come in to mirror that. And then if they don't, then you're strategic and you can clearly see, oh, I just need to do this strategy, or I can hire a business coach to help me think of ways to hit 7 figures or whatever your goals are. But it's less personal. It's just the situation of the moment. It's not about you.
So what I'm hearing, it's all really relationships to your business, relationships to your partner, relationships to food.
That's right.
Everything. So I love you and Emilio's relationship. You have an incredible relationship. Was I supposed to say his name?
Yes.
Do people know about this?
Yeah,
Okay.
it's been on my podcast.
Okay, okay. I thought it might have been a secret all of a sudden. I just premiered her on my show. Fantastic. You guys are always working together. Fantastic communication. Really love in each other's eyes. He's so grounded. You know, of course you attract, you know. And he was telling me you went to this beautiful tantric retreat.
Yeah.
And there's people viewing, listening, they go, I have a partner and we sort of like hit this thing where we just kind of like roommates and we just, we love each other. We have kids or we're planning to have kids, but like there's that fire is gone, that fire between us, whether it's intimately or just the polarity, there's just, it's not like it was in the beginning. What would you say to people who that's their number one complaint, which I can imagine is probably pretty common that couples are saying?
You got to tend to it regularly. And you got to do the work to be really honest and not push things under the rug. I think that's when people start having parallel lives. And I also understand, depending on what age, if they have kids, what age stage the kids are. Because oftentimes, I think back in our parents' generation, it was like, put the kids first.
Yeah.
And then now we're like, okay, divorce rates are pretty high. Maybe that wasn't the formula. Maybe it was about putting ourselves first, then the relationship, and then the kids, because the kids are going to be a reflection of if the mom or dad are happy, the couple's happy, the kids are happy. And so it's not selfish to do that, but I think we're learning and shifting things by trial and error. And I think part of that is just, I think that, you know, I understand we have 3 kids. And so I am their stepmom and I got them when they were 6 months, year and a half, and 3.5. So I went from 0 to 3. And it was an initiation. And I understand people being like, that sounds nice, Alyssa. And I've got kids that are really young, but we want to learn how to keep doing the work for ourselves because that does make you a better parent and that makes you a better partner and lover. And it's not a luxury. It's really a necessity. And I think I often wonder, how do people do it without tools? And then I see addiction and all of the different ways that smoking and porn and shopping and
everything,
all the ways that it can manifest without having tools. I mean, one of the things that I really value is regularly doing therapy, even if it's once a month. I've been married 16 years now, and we've done therapy where we met when we were doing a master's program in spiritual psychology. So we had done a lot of the foundational work. I had also done a lot of healing work with my projection and my relationship with my mom before getting into partnership, which honestly was everything. I don't have triggers around my marriage. And I say that to let people know that it's possible, but I say that because I did the work. My triggers show up in different places now. And as I healed my core wound relationship with my mom, I no longer needed to play it out in partnership. So it's worth the time and the energy to do that work so that it can manifest in a partner. But a lot of the time people think that I am deficient and somebody else is going to make me whole, or they're going to give me something that I don't already have access to. But whoever you're with is a reflection of you, and they're showing you ways that you can love yourself more fully. And they're also showing you that whatever, let's just say like you meet somebody and there's this like honeymoon phase, that doesn't have to end. It can change that form of that love, but it doesn't have to go downhill. I think the honeymoon phase, quote unquote, shows you what's possible when you've done the work. So if you've proactively done the work and you keep doing the work, so you don't push it under the rug. I'm more attracted to my husband 16 years later, but we've worked on that. We're more in love and connected to him, but we've maintained that through doing our own work and then doing couples work. And I don't even call it work, because why wouldn't I want to invest time and energy to the thing that matters most to me, keeping my heart and mind open. But I'm really clear that my husband never gave me love. He just awakened the love that was already within me. And because I know that, then it's easier to love him in a free way where he can come and go and my heart stays open. Of course I would grieve, you know, if I didn't have my husband, but I would let myself open to the grief, and I would move on to a different relationship. So it's like less I'm getting something from him, because I think that's the recipe for in business and in love. When I'm getting something from my business, I'm getting something from somebody else, I'm totally blind to it already being here prior to me, the strategies looking for it.
Yeah, this is, and I would think most people in relationships are, oh, he gives me love or she gives me love, and I love her and I give her love.
Yeah.
Isn't that how it is? But you're saying is that his expression of love is a mirror to your own inherent.
Everything I feel with him, with my husband, and anybody, it's not even just special egoic love.
Mm-hmm.
Everyone is your soulmate helping you evolve your soul. If you use it that way, then there's no special egoic one. You're using everyone to teach you how to love yourself more fully. You're awakening to a bigger love than any one person could ever give you. That's the love affair I'm interested in. And I choose to be monogamous with my husband. We're in a committed relationship in that way. But that's just because that's our preference, our agreement. But I still use everyone as a mirror so that I can get free. And as I heal whatever that projection is in me, then I don't need to play out that pattern with other people that I work with, clients, family, kids. It's using everyone to do the deeper work, and that's ongoing. And then I keep my heart open. But meeting my husband, I was really clear that I felt so high meeting him, but I knew that he was evoking the love that I am. He wasn't giving me anything. And so I think I talk about 4 stages of love, and I think it gives people a reference point based on their sense of their level of consciousness. So there's it's like I need love is more codependency. Stage 1. Most of humanity is there. I need love. You complete me. Whereas the second stage is I choose love. And this is where we choose to do the work. And a lot of us need to do the work with mom or dad or both to have a real healthy integrated ego. So we want to really do, we've all heard at this point, whoever you attract is mirroring the patterns that you didn't get, and the healing that you didn't get with your mom or dad. So oftentimes we're still doing that. It's like whatever your problem is in your life, you're like, what are you trying to get from your business? What are you trying to get from your partner? And then who were you trying to get that from when you were younger, mom or dad? Like attention. What's the core thing? So I choose love as I choose to do this in partnership. And you don't have to be in romantic partnership. I did this with my best friend before I called him my husband, because everybody is a mirror. So you can choose to bring love to the parts of you that feel abandoned or insecure or scared, so that you can heal it directly and you play it out less with your partner. And then the third stage this is when we get more into a spiritual awakening, where it's like, I am love, right? I am love. It's not like they're giving me love. I am love. This is who I am. And then the fourth stage is a greater level of awakening, which is love. There's no you, there's no me. It's just love. It's no longer who I am. It's what I am. The foundation of life itself.
I felt that fourth one, but I was on psychedelics. I got to say that. But yeah, absolutely. Beautiful, beautiful. It's incredible. It's just, because then I'm looking at this whole system, and the root of so many relationship issues are exactly that. Is we're not only trying to get from this person something from them that we weren't given by our parents, or please give me more love because I need to feel that more and safety. Yeah. And we don't know that. We don't even have the language. I think about like my friends back in New Jersey, like we don't have language for that. Yeah. And it's just played out on autopilot, over and over. And it's like, oh, we fight like once a month about this, but we don't go deeper. And my wish is that, because it affects the kids. Yeah. It affects the kids most of all. Yeah. But we can be empowered to do that.
Yeah. And you can see the through line, like what are the themes of the things that trigger me? Because if it triggers you in romantic partnership, it'll trigger you in other places. But that's the cool thing about doing this work at the root, is as you heal it, say rejection or abandonment, as you heal that within yourself, you're not going to put up with anything less than what you're already giving yourself in relationship. And you're also going to feel so much more empowered to go for the business things that are important to you without getting caught up in this fear of feeling rejected. You're going to be able to pitch to more projects or clients because you no longer have the fear of being rejected, because you feel a sense of wholeness inside of you having transformed it.
And that's past just somatic. That's part identity. That's a lot. That's
everything we've been talking about.
All the modalities.
Yeah.
Okay, beautiful. We're rounding out the end of this, because you're a busy woman, and this is chock full of information. I want people to be able to integrate all of this. I know that you have a very intentional life. but I would love to share for the viewers and listeners a little protocol. What are some of the things that really are going to be big bang for buck experiences, integrations into their life that can really be transformative already from the get-go?
Yeah. If you're just beginning the work, if you're a newbie in terms of personal development, I would say mindset work is really helpful. Questioning your thinking is really helpful. If you're more advanced, feel the thing you're afraid of. Start to bite size and integrate the very feeling that you're avoiding in your life to just almost like think of a teapot. You're letting out the steam so it doesn't overflow. Because if you don't, life will present you with opportunities for that to overflow. So you're letting the steam out so that you have greater capacity. And so on my podcast, I have it's like the most powerful, I think it's called the most powerful somatic tool. And it's an audio guide. And that's what I do, which I did, was it this morning or yesterday morning? That's the practice of you just starting to breathe into and feel the very thing that you've avoided. Because that's real freedom to feel all of it and find your center through it. That's more advanced, and you want to have a sense of safety, but question your thinking and breathing into this sensation. 2 strong protocols.
Easy.
Yeah.
Easy.
It takes courage.
Takes courage.
Willingness.
That's
and
the
it
thing.
is easy when you do it. It's just hard when you resist it.
Okay. Dancing and singing too?
Please.
Little meditation somewhere in there?
I mean, solid, like the core.
How do you take care of your body physically?
I like running. I like spinning. I do some strength training, but I like dancing.
Yeah.
But I try to change it up. So if I think of movement, I'll just change it up. Or if I think of meditation, that can be an active writing meditation, an inquiry, who am I? Or just a silent stillness. That's just one of my favorites.
What's your guilty pleasure?
Chocolate.
Ooh.
But I don't know that I feel that guilty about
But
it.
chocolate's good for you too.
It's 88%.
Good quality. Oh yeah, that's good quality
But I mean,
chocolate.
I'm having a bar a day.
Oh, that's okay. Okay, what's a guilty pleasure that is like, what is your unconscious guilty pleasure? Like, do you love watching Housewives of Huntington Beach?
No.
I can't imagine.
I don't even watch TV.
I didn't even see a TV in your house when I went there.
But I think honestly, my edge is part of my edge is receiving more pleasure.
Okay.
Yeah, that's part of my edge. So one of the things that I have, one of my love languages is acts of service. And so my edge is letting myself receive and have more pleasure. So even right now, like that inquiry of, can I let myself receive, and anybody listening, 5% more pleasure right now. And that could just be with the breath and just feeling that everything is already handled and held and that I don't have to do anything. That's part of my edge right now.
Okay, beautiful.
Yeah.
I love that. We're going to get you to watch Housewives. Okay, so how do people listen? How do they find you? What's the websites? What's all the stuff?
Yeah.
What's all the stuff?
Yeah. AlyssaNobriga.com and the Healing and Human Potential podcast.
And they can find that somatic practice there?
They can share it's called the #1 somatic tool. It's an audio guide. Amazing. Where it's like a 10-minute. You can do it for like 30 days just to really find it. It's a stillness practice, but it also helps you integrate that stuck energy in a really safe way. And, but yeah, that's free. That's all online. And then the main thing that I do is a certification program for those that are coaches, therapists, and healers that want to do their own work, that they want to get really masterful in the facilitation and grow their businesses.
Beautiful, beautiful. We love you. And if you loved Alyssa and her work, go listen to the episode that we did. Go to her podcast. I mean, you have some real good gems there. I've listened to a few already. I was on it. I've been on the show.
Yes.
So, yeah, if you want more of her, that you're going to find a lot of you over there. Website, and if you're interested in stepping into this work, I mean, I took it. I'm not even for a coaching certification. I just took it to learn more, and I sure did.
Yeah.
You know, I think I can hold people better in space just because I took that whole set, the whole, like everything, gems and writing things down. I had a whiteboard, I have a notebook, you know, I have circles and lines everywhere. The whole matrix made sense.
It's a deep program.
Thank you for your work in this world.
I love you.
Yeah, I love you too. You really do some beautiful stuff. Till next time.
Yeah.
All right.